Alright guys, let's go over some quick technique differences you would use on slow rolls versus fast rolls. Okay, so slow rolls, let's just take a look at it. Fast roll. Okay, so just observe the difference. Okay, so on a slow roll, you would see that it's a higher height. On a fast roll, you see it's a lower height. But also observe how the stick moves. Okay, so on a slow roll, the stick moves more like this in your hand. But on a fast roll, the stick moves more like this. Okay, so once you understand the difference, if you need to play a fast roll, you don't want to play it like a slow roll, right? You want to play it more like this. Okay, so the stick moves more like this in your hand. You use a little bit more arm, and it'll smoothen out. Okay, so try that out, and let me know what you think if you guys need to play some fast rolls. What's up everybody, it's Carl, aka Carl Drum Tech, and today I want to address a question that was left on my last video blog, and the question revolves around band directors and what I think entails, you know, being a good band director, why the successful programs are as successful as they are, you know, the kind of directors at the helm, like what makes that possible, right? And this is also for those of you guys who are interested in one day possibly getting into music education, like being a drum instructor or a band director, right? So this is just my thoughts, these are my opinions, and if you are a band director watching this video right now, please don't take any of my commentary as me telling you how to do your job. That's the last thing I ever want to do. You know, and it's like, this is just my opinions, these are my thoughts, these are my observations based on my experience. You know, I've never been a band director, so that's one, right? But I have worked with a lot of band directors. I've, you know, worked with different high school programs, so I definitely know a lot of them. I definitely worked with a lot of them. And just like anything else, being a band director, you know, is a position of authority, right? So, you know, these are my observations in terms of just like, you know, being a leader in general, and what I've seen in, you know, the corporate world, what I've read in books and things like that, right? So these are just my opinions, these are just my thoughts, these are just my observations. Take it for what you will. Whatever it is that you do in your program, please go do you, do your thing. If it works for you, it works for you. I'm by no means am I saying this is how you should do your job. That's the last thing I want to do. You guys have the hardest jobs in the world, especially in the activity, so keep doing your thing, and thank you for making music education possible in your school. All right, so that being said, all right, so let's get into it. So what do I think entails, you know, being a good band director, right? I truly believe that being a good band director has a lot to do with the fact that, you know, you hire people, right, that is going to be smarter than you in certain areas, right? So let's say you're a band director and you are a trumpet player, right? Like you grew up as a trumpet player, that's your instrument, and then, you know, you went to school and, you know, you learned all the general, like, you know, music, like you learned a lot about other instruments in general, right? And you know, you learn how to conduct and all that good stuff, right? But let's say now you jump into a band director job and you have a drum line and you're like, well, I've never played drums before, right? So the key is, in that situation, just as an example, is that you want to make sure that you hire somebody who is smarter than you in that department, right? So you want to hire a drum instructor who knows about drums, who has experience playing in a drum line, who has experience, you know, marching in a drum line or even teaching a drum line. That's the kind of person you want to hire. So in that sense, that person is smarter than you in terms of percussion, marching percussion, and things like that, right? So you want to get that person in your program to help you out and to help your students out and give them the best education possible, right? So the same thing, right? So you're a trumpet player, now you want to get a woodwinds player, you know, like an instructor to help you out. You want to get a color guard instructor to help you out. And once you have those people in place, right, I believe that basically you have to make sure that they do them, right? So basically you want them to shine, you want them to bring out the best of themselves, allow them to do their thing, not micromanage them, but just whatever they're talented in, whatever their skill set is, allow that talent to flourish, give them the space to operate, to work, you know, without getting too much in the way. Obviously, you're gonna have a grand plan. You're gonna have a grand, you know, direction that you're gonna try to steer everybody towards. That's why you're the director, right? So you want to direct people towards the goal that you want everybody to strive for, okay? So you're the mastermind, right? You're the architect. You're the guy telling people, all right, you do this, you do this. But for the most part, you get out of the way and just say, all right, whatever your talent is, go do it, all right? Go make that happen. You know, let that shine. allow the students to see you at your best and just do your thing. That's the most important thing, right? It's like allow people to let their natural talents shine without micromanaging them, without saying that, you know, like, well, without trying to get involved in everything, right? Like that's the key, I think, to being a good band director is to, number one, hire people who are smarter than you in other things. Number two, allow them to flourish and allow their talent to shine and give them the space without micromanaging them to do their thing, all right? So I think that's not just being a band director, right? Like even if you're a drum instructor, right? So now you're thinking, okay, now let's say you're a drum instructor and your main instrument is snare drum, okay? So you wanna hire a tenor tech, right? So, you know, tenors is not your thing, snare drum isn't your thing, so you wanna get somebody smarter than you in that area, right? So you wanna get a tenor player to help you with your tenors, okay? You wanna get a bass instructor or a bass tech to help you with the bass drumming stuff, right? They're smarter than you in bass drumming, so you hire somebody who is, you know, smarter than you in that regard. And then same thing, you allow them to shine, you allow their talent, okay, what they bring to the table that is special, okay, bring that out to the table, allow them the space to and the freedom to show their talents, right? Like give their gift of whatever skill set that they're trying to teach, right? And let them do their thing. Okay, that's the most important thing. And this is the same thing in the corporate world, right? Like, you know, you're a boss, you're a, you know, administrator, things like that, right? You want to hire people who are really smart, right? Not just, you know, you don't want to just like get people who are like not as smart as you and like just, you know, get mediocre results, okay? Because they're not as good as you. But you want to feed your ego, right? You want to make sure that, you know, I'm the smartest person there, I am the top person, I'm the top dog, whatever, right? You don't want that. You want people who are smarter than you, who are in some ways more talented than you, you know, in other areas that maybe that you cannot fulfill, right? You will always have a talent for something else. That's why you're in the position that you are. So, but at the same time, you want to get people who, you know, are really good at what they do, maybe smarter than you in certain areas. You want to get those people and then allow them to shine, give them the space to do their thing, and you know, not try to get in their grill, like, you know, micromanage them, things like that. Allow them to make mistakes, right? So that's another big thing too, right? Allow people who you hire to make their mistakes, learn from their mistakes, and then just say, all right, cool, like what can we do better? Just encourage them, coach them, and make them do better next time. And they will, for the most part. If you allow them the space, you treat them like a human being, that is exactly what's going to happen. They're gonna improve, they're gonna get better, they're gonna step it up, and they're gonna produce more results, okay? So, in my opinion, that is what I believe a good band director should be, just like any other leader out there in the world. Now, you know, just specifically talking about band directors, you know, I think band directing is, again, like I said, one of the hardest jobs in the world. And if you are getting ready, you know, or you're thinking about doing something like that as a student, like you want to get into music education, you want to be a band director, just understand what that entails. Just understand the hard work, like I said, that it takes to be a band director. Number one, you may even have to deal with something like you don't have a budget to hire coaches. So you're the one-man show or one-woman show, and you're the only person, you know, taking care of everybody. Now you gotta learn how to spin a flag. Now you gotta learn how to, you know, play a paradiddle. Now, like that's your job, right? So you gotta be ready for that as well. Let's say you don't have a budget and you gotta figure out, like, you know, how to get fundraising so you can have the funds to get maybe instruments that you need or the staff that you need. And if you don't have the funds, you got to make do with what you got. That's another part of your job as well, and make the best out of that situation. Also, please be prepared for the fact that, you know, I believe band directing and maybe, you know, some people who, like, before they get into being a band director, they don't totally realize this, but it's a lot of administrative work, right? So just take, for example, like, you know, the band director usually has to order buses, has to set up the competitions, has to, you know, set up rosters, has to figure out, you know, finances. Now they're an accountant too, right? So it's like so many different things, right? That's administrative, that's like office work, that's like, you know, not exactly what you thought you were gonna get into. If you thought you were getting into music education, you're thinking, I just want to teach music, I want to go ahead and do that, I want to be a band director. But then most people, I think, are not prepared for the fact that it's a lot of paperwork, it's a lot of administrative stuff, it's a lot of bureaucracy too, like, you know, dealing with school administrators, getting what you need, getting what you want, because a lot of times, unfortunately, right, music programs don't get a lot of attention compared to like athletics and academics and things like that, right? So you have to fight through that stuff as well. So just be prepared. If this is something that you want to do, just know that that is going to be part of your job, and you just gotta love it. Like, you gotta love like the fact that this is what it entails for you to be able to give students the music education that they so desperately need. And I truly believe that music education is such an integral part of the academic system. So if you guys do choose to be a band director, just know that your importance should never be understated. All right, so I personally appreciate all band directors doing their thing, and you know, I just gave my thoughts in terms of just like what I think being a good band director should entail. Again, if you're a band director, hopefully you found this interesting and you know, maybe entertaining at the very least. Again, I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but you know, I just want to say, you know, if anything else, if you don't learn anything from this, thank you for bringing music education to the young people out there. All right, so cool. Hopefully this answers the question for those of you guys who are interested in getting into the field of music education, being a band director, things like that. Hopefully this has been helpful to you in terms of like, if this is something you want to do. All right, so if you guys like this video and you've been watching this far, do me a huge favor. All right, hit that like button. All right, and if you guys have any questions or comments, as you can see, I do take requests and I do fulfill them. All right, so do yourself a favor. If you have a question, something is burning at you, leave a comment, ask a question, and then maybe, just maybe, I will cover it just like this video, all right? If you guys have not subscribed yet, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, do it right now, okay? It takes less than a second, all right? Maybe it takes a second, all right? But just hit that subscribe button, and I really would appreciate that, okay? And if you think somebody could use this video and could benefit from it, maybe somebody who's thinking about being a band director someday, maybe even a drum instructor, right? Or just in general, if you want any tips, if you feel like somebody could use some tips on how to be a good leader, right? So again, being a good leader is all about not micromanaging, allowing people to do their thing, allow their talent to shine. Just let that cultivate that talent right around you, okay? And let it flourish. Let people do their thing. And if you all move towards a common goal and give people the space to you know, do their best, you can do a lot of great things, okay? So yeah, share this video with them if you feel this would be helpful to that person. And I guess I'll see you guys later, all right? Peace out.